Therefore, I come here today to ask the board to stop adopting 3R's curriculum because it gives wrong and potentially illegal message. And let me tell you why. In the lesson plan for grade 6, lesson 5, these young 6th graders, they were asked to participate at activities where they would be engaging in some role playing and asking for some kind of sex and how to respond. I understand the one who designed the curriculum may want to teach the kids to how to respond to a scenario, how to say no. But the problem is, this activity could very well against the law. Let me tell you why. In California, the age of consent is 18. Anyone at age 17 or younger, they are now legally able to consent to any sexual activities. So why are we asking our 6th graders in the classroom to learn something illegal? In conclusion, I do think no child should be learning any illegal activities at classroom. Therefore, respectfully, I ask the 3R's to be removed from the Fremont Unified Classroom. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next group.
3 minutes. Good evening, board members and fellow audiences. My name is Esther Lau, and I'm a student at Hopkins Junior High School. This is Selena Song and Maggie Sun. I would like to clarify that we respect all people, not at all dependent on their sexual orientation, gender, or race. To begin, I want to know that according to evidence from a publicly published document from the California Department of Education, there are 6 areas that are required to be covered: nutrition and physical activity, growth, development, and sexual health, injury prevention and safety, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, mental, emotional, and social health, and personal and community health. In contrast, the FUSD teaches the material that the state does not require and goes into too much detail. We should be taught all the aspects of our safety, health, and overall attitude towards life, a complete and total curriculum in education.
Good evening, board members and fellow audiences. My name is Selena Song, and I'm a student at Horner Junior High School. As students, with assignments piled up into mountains, project deadlines just over the horizon, peer and parent pressure levels, the amount of obstacles are simply too intimidating to face without a stable mental health. On top of all this, drama happens. Bullying, fake rumors, ostracization leads to unnecessary stress that we simply have no time nor effort to cope with. Many of my friends and classmates have confided in me, saying that at this point I don't care anymore, or why bother studying when I know I'm going to fail anyway. This unhealthy mindset, setting themselves up for failure, pushing themselves past the breaking point, should be combated by enforcing the importance of mental, emotional, and social health. There are so many more aspects of our safety and health to be taught and enforced, to be regarded as more than cheesy posters on the walls, and it is the school's responsibility to do so. Next, I would like to address the co-ed learning environment. The department's Title IX regulations identify the following categories for which an educational institution may intentionally separate students by sex, including classes or portions of classes in elementary and secondary schools that deal primarily with human sexuality. We are an insecure generation, afraid of being judged constantly. We fret over what we wear, eat, say, and do, because we are so young and vulnerable, so self-conscious. Many of my peers fear even presenting projects in front of others. So imagine how uncomfortable they would feel discussing private information about their bodies in depth with classmates of the opposite gender. The state does not require students to be together while learning about their bodies and health, and it is just as shaming as taking your clothes off amongst a big crowd. If you want students to be comfortable learning about themselves and what they're going through, at least give them a comfortable environment. Am I right? Therefore, I demand a total health curriculum, not an in-depth sexual education, to benefit not only the students right now, but in the long run as well. Thank you.
Next, please.
Good evening, board members. My name is Yang Huang. I'm a parent of the Irvington attendance area and a registered voter of Fremont. I'm speaking on behalf of my friend Pei Chen. She's a parent of Warwick Elementary School, also a registered voter of Fremont. I have done some research on the new 3R sex education curriculum. 3R was based on an European study, specifically conducted in the countries of Netherlands, Germany, and France. FUSD student population is composed of more than 60% of Asians, which is very different from the study population, let alone other differences in culture, education, and occupation. In addition, 3R does not cover students with special needs, and it is not available in any Asian languages yet. Most importantly, 3R does not have pre- and post-test data comparison to prove its effectiveness. Instead of rushing district-wide implementation,
Thank you.
we here request
You-
a new curriculum.
Please stop. Yeah. Okay, in order for you to enjoy the collective amount of minutes, you have to introduce the group. Otherwise, you'll be treated as one individual.
My name is Basanio Law, and this is Josephine, and this is Senna, and this is Patricia. I'm a long-time resident in Fremont, most of my adult life, about 30 years, and I have 3 children in the school system. And Patricia is also a Fremont resident. Josephine is not, but she's a proud grandparent of a Fremont resident. Her son and daughter-in-law bought a house in Fremont and decided to settle in Fremont, and then they have a baby. So look forward to attending to the Fremont school system. I don't normally really like to get involved in politics and so on. Maybe shame on me. I will be busy with my life, and I'm sure. The last time I was involved in the school board meeting was about 15 years ago, other than 2 weeks ago, because of this issue I came to speak. So there is something that really motivates me. So there's something that really motivates the people. And I did spend a lot of time researching, and I talked to about, communicate, put it in depth to about at least 12 speakers, and then really look at their concerns in a very detailed way. I have to tell you from the optics that I'm seeing, something is not right, is not going on. There's an extreme polarization happening. And I think that's caused by the lack of proper parental involvement, not involving them. The other thing is that once again, from the optics that I'm seeing, there seems to be procedural manipulation going on for someone to push out a certain personal ideology. And that's not right. And today is so full that we don't even have enough people. We don't even have enough room, including overflow room. There are still people standing outside. And police are called and so on, and there's a demonstration. And this just started. And let me tell you, when I talk to this set of people, these people normally are pretty passive, maybe have to do with the culture and so on. There's something really hitting them, really bothering them. I have seen they get so passionate about it. So all they ask is that peace involve them. And that's what you want anyway. You want to collaborate with the parents. And that's all they are asking. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Becky Bruno, and I am not speaking on my behalf right now. I have a speaker card for myself, but I am going to be speaking on behalf of Miranda Morton. She is a high school student and had to go home. So I'm going to read what she had prepared. My name is Miranda Morton, and I'm a senior at Kennedy High School, and I'm a firm believer that sex ed should not only stay in elementary schools, but be more extensive. It currently doesn't give students enough information. Teachers should go more in-depth, talk about orientations, and most importantly, consent. The district is afraid that elementary school students are too young, but puberty begins between 5th and 7th grade for girls and 7th and 9th grade for boys. The brain of a child is more susceptible to learning than the brain of a teenager or adult. And I personally had to ask my mother and older sister many of the questions that I had, but that was a luxury. There are people who don't have a mother or a sister to ask. There are also those who avoid these conversations because they feel awkward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to let you know that Marwa has left, so I'll only have a minute. Hi, so Yasi again here from SAVE, your local domestic violence agency, a place I hope none of you ever have to come. I'm here to encourage the board to adopt the curriculum as it is, and again, here's some facts. 1 in 3 females who go to college experience sexual assault. Every 8 minutes, a child is a victim of sexual assault. Every 8 minutes. The data shows that sex ed lowers STI contraction, increases the likelihood of delaying sexual activity. Again, delaying sexual activity. It lowers teenage pregnancy. It increases that children will learn that their bodies are not a place that people are allowed to force themselves upon. What the data does not show ever is that sex ed increases sexual activity. It does not show that it sexualizes our youth. It never has. What does sexualize our youth? Our media, our YouTube, pornography, videos that your kids are watching and they're trying to get information about, and not talking to them about it doesn't change the reality.
Thank you. All right. It's time for us to take a second break for this evening. We'll break for 10 minutes and come back at 10:05. Oh, by the way, same announcement. Please stay in the current room. Do not move from room to room. Otherwise, the police officer will remove you from the building. Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Yes. Please be seated. We are going to start very soon. Welcome back to the board meeting of Fremont Unified School District on March 28th, 2018. We're on item 15.4. We are in the middle of public speakers. Ms. Sandoval, can we continue to announce the names of the next group?
Certainly. Sunitha Devi, Archana Hangalori, Jin Zhao, Pihui Wei, Ming Che Pan, Stephen Chang, Roxanne Picadesso, Cal Jones, Linda Delaney, Rona Popal.
Okay.
If you are ready, you can come on up to the podium.
Hello, everyone. I'm mother of 2 daughters. My name is Jane.
First of all, you have to
sorry.
introduce the whole group in order for us to determine how many minutes you're allowed.
Can we start over again?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I did.
What is your name?
Jing Zhao.
Just
Just 2 of us.
2 minutes. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jane. This is Jean. We are group 2. So I'm I'm mother of 2 daughters. I'm resident of Fremont. My subject is about 15.4. The lyrics of Pledge of Allegiance. One nation under God. We just sing this song at the beginning of the meeting. We know God loves America. God loves our children. Our children are the future of America. Please help our children and stop inappropriate sex curriculum. This inappropriate sex curriculum will mislead our children at their young age. Please help our children grow up step by step. Give them appropriate health and sex education at the appropriate age. As you know, young people are strong. The country will be powerful. I think everyone agrees with me at this point. Please help our children. Help America be stronger again. Today, my 5-year-old daughter told me before I came here. She said, "Mom, I know where you're going and what you do. Mom, the school board will listen to your big voice because Taylor and I just pray for you and Dada. Thank you for being patient and listen to our voice here, and God bless you all. Thank you."
Thank you. Next group, please.
Hi, 2 people, Steven and Minja Pan. 2 people. Hi, I'm the father of 3 sons, and they are studying in elementary school in Fremont. I went to a grade 5 review session, and many parents we are very angry about the material. We are really unhappy about it, and we talked to the administrator, and they just told us they are complying to the law. Then later I find out it's a lie. There's no law we need to comply. It's for grade 7, right? The law AB something is for grade 7. It's not for grade 4 to 6. So what law are we going to comply to? So I just really want our school board members, you guys can be our voice. You can be our voice. We can the material really need to be reviewed and really consider it. And we hope we can have a proper education for our children. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next group, please.
Good evening. My name is Roxanne Pecadesso, and I've lived in Fremont for over 20 years. As a registered voter and an alum from the Fremont school system, it's crucial for youth to have science-based, LGBTQ inclusive sex ed to establish healthy identities, behaviors, and prevent STI transmission and teen pregnancy. I urge the board to adopt the proposed board policy and administrative regulation. I give my time to Karen. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Karen Camacho, and I am a fellow at the ACLU Foundation of Northern California. We would like to express our support for the proposed policy and the administrative regulation. This board policy provides guidance about the scope of instruction required by law and how instruction must be provided to meet the requirements of the California Healthy Youth Act. We urge the district to stand firm in its commitment to providing sex education in grades 4 to 6. The district's current instructional plan aligns with California's content standards, and students in grades 4 to 6 need to learn science-based and accurate terminology to describe their anatomy, articulate boundaries, and understand the emotional, social, and biological changes that come with puberty. We also urge the district to ensure their policy provides for instruction to be given in mixed gender classrooms, which is supported by state and federal law. Whole classroom instruction reduces the risk of students being misgendered or marginalized in violation of California law and ensures that all students are receiving the same content and messages about inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Cal Larish, and this is Becky Bruno. My name is Cal Jones Larish, and I'm a former student of FUSD. I graduated last year, and I am a queer and transgender person, if that wasn't sort of obvious. I've come to board meetings several times before to speak on this topic. Elementary school sex ed is very important. I was one of the kids who got their period before we learned about it in school, back when we only had stuff starting in 5th grade. I was lucky enough to have a parent who I could ask about this stuff, but not everyone does. I would like to reiterate what others have said, and that while yes, every child matures at a different rate, we must use objective standards for age appropriateness, such as state guidelines. We have the option to opt out for people who feel it isn't appropriate for their kids. I know the conversation right now is mostly about what is and isn't age appropriate, and not outwardly about LGBT content covered in the curriculum. I believe many people opposing sex ed are not opposing it because of the anti-LGBT stuff, but there are certainly some who are. It is clear from some of the comments on the petition, comments made in parental screenings, and the involvement of the Pacific Justice Institute in this event, which is a registered or a designated anti-LGBT state group by the hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center, that some of the opposition is opposing the new curriculum for policy or for the LGBT content. I wish I had known the word transgender when I was in 4th grade. It would have saved me a lot of time and helped with the confusing feelings I was having. But more than that, I wish that my peers had known the word transgender because they would have understood me better. Less people would have made fun of me on the playground and in bathrooms. And we need to having gender-separated class like I did isolates and ostracizes students like me who don't fit neatly into one of the boxes. By ignoring our LGBT students, we are teaching students that they are invisible and teaching everyone else that they can be ignorant. Our sex ed hasn't been inclusive before, but with this new board policy, we can make sex ed and keep inclusive and keep mixed gender classrooms. Thank you.
Next group, please.
Becky Bruno, Diane Jones, Renu Colley, Karen Camacho. It is. Different card. Ming, Shruti Srivastava, Kate Wu, Vijayalaksami Arumakam, Beth Hoffman, Anaya Hidosha, Alan Zhao, Marcia Squares, Shengming Shan, Selvin, David Sheen.
You can start.
Hi, I'm Renu Colley, and she's Ming, and we have 2 minutes. Hi, I'm Renu Colley, U.S. citizen, Fremont resident. I have 2 kids who are going to Warm Springs Elementary School and James H. in 5th grade and TK. After going through the sex ed material that is going to be taught to our kids, I do have one fundamental question. What is the purpose of this education? And why are our Fremont schools only teaching it? Is it for the health and safety of our kids? Please look at the material. The material focuses on only sex, how to do sex, what types of sex are there, with diagrams and questions on it. It focuses only on the physical relationship. Really, is that what we need to teach them? They are too young to process these in their brains, and in turn, we are harming them and having them lose focus on actual education and removing their innocence. I request the board to re-evaluate the material, whether the excessive sex ed is helpful or harmful to the students in 4th and 6th grade when it is not required by the law to offer sex education. Thank you.
Next group.
Hi, I'm talking on behalf of Ananya Hindocha, who had to leave because she had to go do some homework. But my name is Melissa, and she says comprehensive sex ed is important for creating a safe and comfortable environment for kids of all identities. By teaching children at a young age about the ideas of consent and other ideas included in the 3R curriculum, FUSD can create an environment where children feel safe and children are educated, because ignorance is very dangerous. So thank you.
Thank you. Next group.
Hello, 2 minutes, please. This is Linda Dulaney. I'm Diane Jones, parent of FUSD students. I support the board's proposed policy covering comprehensive sex ed, which maintains elementary instruction and aligns with content standards to determine age appropriateness. I encourage you to maintain whole class rather than sex segregated instruction, both for legal and pedagogical reasons I've explained in prior emails. The American Academy of Pediatrics supports comprehensive sex ed in elementary school. Both the AAP and the American Psychological Association reference national content standards and cite advocates for youth, the creators of the 3Rs curriculum, in their guidance documents. According to the California Department of Education, schools are not permitted to wait for the completion of the framework revision process to comply with the California Healthy Youth Act. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit ruled in 2005 in Fields versus Palmdale that parents do not have any constitutional right to prevent a public school from providing its students with whatever information it wishes to provide, sexual or otherwise. In reaching its decision, the court explained that schools cannot be expected to accommodate the personal, moral, or religious concerns of every parent. Such an obligation would not only contravene the educational mission of public schools, but would also be impossible to satisfy. Parents who want to opt out have the legal right to excuse their children from all or some of the lessons. Please do not deny access to comprehensive sex ed curriculum to all of our students, because some parents do not want their children to participate. Thank you.
I just need a minute. I'm Beth Hoffman, and I'm representing Compassionate Fremont, whose mission is to promote justice, dignity, equity, compassion, and respect. We're the group behind these signs that you see all over Fremont. Many of you have them in your homes and in your businesses. We support the board policy 6142.3 for sexual health and HIV/AIDS prevention instruction. We support the district's decision to continue to teach sex ed in grades 4 to 6. please adopt this. LGBTQ inclusive sex education benefits. It creates a positive effect on school climate and reduces bullying and harassment. When we don't teach inclusion, we teach discrimination.
Next group.
Hi, this is VG and Selvin, and I'm Chris. So, good evening. I'm a parent of 2 children at Warm Springs Elementary and a registered voter in Fremont. I'm here to urge the board to suspend the 3 R's sexuality education curriculum until parents have had a chance to participate in its review and adoption process. So the hundreds of Fremont parents in attendance today request that we put a stop to the district's the presently unfolding comedy of errors and misinformation. So we do not want the 3 R's. We do not need the 3 R's. Unfortunately, there is an alternative. So a lot of people have said what I wanted to say, so I'll just skip a lot of this information. What I really want to discuss is the district's unprecedented decision to adopt whole group, that means boys and girls together, instruction for 4th to 6th grade sex education. So 1 month ago, I attended a parent information session for 4th grade parents. The material was presented by Linda Anderson and Katie Carter. During the presentation, which you can view online, we were told that the decision to adopt whole group instruction was, quote, required by law. As recent as 1 week ago, my daughter's 4th grade teacher sent parents an email stating, quote, boys and girls will be taught together this year because this is now a California state law that the district is obligated to follow, unquote. So you might be, obviously we've heard today that this is not true, so I won't belabor the point. So what I really want to know is, why were we given this information and by whom? I mean, these are obviously incorrect legal opinions. And so, I've read the law, like we've had discussed. And so, I won't repeat what's been said. But can we, for a moment, just talk about mixed sex instruction for kids as young as 9 on topics as sensitive as puberty and sexuality? So imagine the emotional pain and suffering of a 10-year-old young girl who wants to ask a question to better understand one of these sensitive topics. Isn't this the generation of safe spaces after all? And we think it's reasonable for 10-year-old girls to ask such questions in front of 10-year-old boys. No, I'm sorry, that's not common sense. It has been and always will be perfectly reasonable to make separate accommodations for girls and boys when appropriate. You're doing harm to the young men and women with this policy. And it's not a civil rights issue. I don't understand why we're trying to make it one. So when Sammy Young Jr., cadet at the Tuskegee Institute, was killed for attempting to use a whites-only bathroom, that was a civil rights issue that happened in Alabama in 1966. It seems as if some outside agitators have run out of real problems to tackle, and they want to sue our school districts for exercising our lawful common sense wisdom. Members of the board, put a stop to the rollout of the 3 R's. Cupertino doesn't have sex education from 4th to 6th, and neither should we. The 3 R's, in my opinion, means reading, writing, and arithmetic. Thank you.
Next group.
My name is Lakshmi.
Please go ahead.
Dear FUSD board members, good evening. I'm a parent of 4th grader from John Gomes Elementary School. While I understand the need for health education, I'm deeply concerned with the inappropriate and misleading contents in the 3R lesson plans. My 3 concerns are: 1. According to the EC section 60002, each district board shall provide for substantial teacher involvement and shall promote the involvement of parents in the selection of instructional materials. Where is the parent in the entire process? How can changes of this magnitude be implemented without parent involvement? I request the board to review the change.org petition, which has 5,000 plus parents voicing out their opinions against the newly proposed curriculum. 2. I want my child to receive a comprehensive and appropriate health education. Why should I opt out due to the improper
Thank you.
adoption process? Finally, please let our children be children.
Thank you.
Matthew Miller, Anjali Dayal, Alfonso Bonica, Anthony Pickett, Ashish Swaroop, Sana Tung, Alice Liu, Meng Xin Wu, Ya Lian Wang, Ya Lin Wang, Chang Wu, Vicky Marr, Daphne Lau, Chris Drake, Betsy Sung.
各位学区委员，晚安。
I will be translating for him. So his name is Mongan Wu. My name is Yaling. Thank you.
我的名字是吴蒙恩，我是阿扎维达小学的家长。Fremont 学区今年要推出一个新的性教育的教材，我上了网站，但发现网站的内容全部都是英文。
Good evening, board members. My name is Mongan Wu, and I'm a parent at Azvita Elementary School. I have heard from other parents about the new sex education curriculum that FUSD is introducing this year. My friends gave me the computer link, so I went to the website to take a look.
这个网站上面都是英文，我无法了解里面的内容，所以我不能够决定这个课程是不是很适合我的孩子。
But unfortunately, the content is all in English. There's no way that I can review the materials, so I cannot decide if this curriculum is appropriate for my kids.
所以我恳请学区能够为家长提供一个不同语言的教材内容可以参阅。我也知道我有能够权利能够选择让我的孩子退出性教育的课程。我需要一个书面的通知我的学校，可是学校目前没有提供选择退出的填写表格。
I would like to request the school district to offer the curriculum content in different languages for parents to review. I have also heard that as a parent, I have the right to opt out my child from the sex education class. However, it requires a written notice to my child's teacher, but the school does not provide the opt-out form.
因为我不太懂得或不太会写英文，所以我无法告知学校和老师。所以我想请求学区提供一个易懂、有多种语言选项的选择退出的填写表格，以行使法律赋予我家长的权利。
Since I do not understand and cannot write in English, it's not possible for me to notify the teacher. So I would like to request the school district to provide an easy to understand and multi-language opt-out form with a check-off box so I can exercise my right.
Thank you. Next, you have 1 minute.
All right. My name is Betsy Song. I'm a registered vote, and I live in Fremont. I have two voices. One voice is for Chinese immigrant parents. I'm lovely to went to the Palo Foundation and the Dr. Kenneth Young and to give me the instruction with the English and in Chinese. Also, CBS very good, and he also provide the instruction for the in Chinese to let me more understand what is the inhaler, how to use it, because even though for the doctor he don't know. So I bring the 3-1, okay? And another voice is for my coworker. His name is Blas. Because he's my friend, okay? Una grande palata and coordinate ko my allergies guy, right? It's Zayten. It's from the Palo Foundation, okay?
Thank
Spanish,
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Matthew Miller. In 5th grade, my daughter learned from a teacher's personal story about her period, a trip to the ER due to intense cramps and bleeding. My daughter and her friends were traumatized. Our family already had talks about puberty, so the damage wasn't irreparable. I'm concerned for kids who did not process their fears with their parents. My daughter's experience happened in a room with girls. Imagine this room with girls and boys. This opens up the probability for sexual harassment and shame amongst girls. Imagine girls harassing boys about nocturnal emissions. Teachers have years of training to teach classroom subjects. Are a few hours training, scripts, and videos really adequate for teachers to teach sensitive topics like puberty, gender, and sex? This places them in an awkward position and places our children at risk. This curriculum violates Ed Codes 51934 and 51101 to address all areas of sex education and allow parents to examine and help develop curriculum that affects students' well-being. Please overhaul this curriculum. Consider the mental and emotional scars of using the current curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you. Please introduce the group.
So this is Li Liu, and I'm Chong Wu. I am a Fremont voter, and I do vote. Also the former moderator for MSJ Talk. Over the years, I've had the honor to work with many of our students, many of which are class of 2017 graduates who are now attending our nation's great universities. Have been very good, very successful with them. But as I look to the coming generations, I'm very concerned about the students that are coming up the pipeline. I see NGSS and the math pathway have been eroding our academic standards with half-baked transitions. But even worse, this 3R sex ed plan represents another harmful policies that are being forced onto our next generation. It's hard enough for our high school students to comprehend this very complex and confusing topic. And now we're trying to force it on the minds of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders? This is lunacy. I want to ask the parents and students in the room, do we want 3R? No! Do we want 3R? No! Do we want 3R? No! I hope you have heard us loud and clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I hope we get 3 minutes. This is Daphne Lau and Vicky Marr, and my name is Alice Liu. We understand the district's position to implement sexual education to follow the California Healthy Youth Act. However, we are deeply concerned about 3R's explicit sexual content. The content must be carefully scrutinized to ensure age appropriateness for each grade level. According to the Education Code 51933, all instructions and materials in all grades must be age appropriate, medically accurate and objective, align with and support the purpose of California Healthy Youth Act, be appropriate for use with pupils of all races, genders, sexual orientations, ethnic and cultural backgrounds. The district claims that the material is already compliant and age appropriate. May I ask, how is the age appropriateness standard determined? Was the content examined and certified by licensed pediatric psychologists? What was the sample size of your research, and was it specific to the pupil in the Fremont city? Did it take into account our cultural and ethnic diversity? What we can say for 100% certainty is that the sample size of 5,000 concerned Fremont parents out of 76,000 FUSD households is statistically significant and clearly represent the voice of Fremont voters. Launching the new sex education as is may be in violation of procedure, as the current 3R sex education curriculum does not follow the California Health Guideline to cover all 6 health components. The FUSD feedback notice in 2017 was only done online in English and not widely circulated. According to Data USA, the city of Fremont comprised of 54% Asian, 24% white, 14% Hispanic. And 59% of the people live in Fremont speak a non-English language. With such a high composition of non-English speakers, the notice must cover at least the main language groups. Unfortunately, this was not done. What about those people who have no access to the internet? From the nearly 5,000 signed petitions, it is evident that the previous parent feedback in 2017 was not a representative voice of Fremont. If the curriculum committee fully incorporated the parents' input into the curriculum, we will not see an outcry from nearly 5,000 parents today. The committee repeatedly stressed that the law requires sex education to be taught co-ed. This law, in fact, does not mandate that. So why must we do that? The law also does not require students 4th to 6th grades to be introduced to sexual education. Again, so why must we do that? We have only one chance to do this right. There is absolutely no takebacks on our children's innocent youth. As FUSD board members, we know you are passionate about our children's academic, physical, and mental health. When you first were sworn into this office, you promised your voters that you would do our children right. We ask you to listen to our
Thank you.
Hi, hello, members of the board and public. My name is Anthony Prickett, and I am a former student in the FUSD school district. As a future educator, Chinese American, gay man, and Christian, I find myself frequently thinking about what it means to create a safe and supportive community for everybody. I think of how confused and lonely I was as a young gay man without the support of my school community. I think of how much it would have meant for me to learn that at a young age that it was not bad to be gay, but a natural and healthy expression of sexuality. I worry for the transgender students who are being forced to be in classes that do not represent their gender identities. I worry for the students who are ignorant of LGBTQ identities and consent, that they might be taken advantage of by those who want to hurt them, whether these people be bullies or sexual predators. Therefore, I implore you to support the new sexual education curriculum. Its structure will serve to protect both our LGBTQ students and the students in our community.
Good evening, board. My name is Alfonso Bonilla, and I had the privilege of speaking to you last time I was here. And I would personally like to thank Ann Crosby for your response to my email. It really touched my heart that you are so dedicated to ensuring that FUSD schools are a safe space for all students. As you hearing tonight, these stories are not unique. They are commonplace, that they are happening in our district, that it's because of ignorance, because of a lack of education, that kids like me, kids like Anthony, kids like Cal have to deal with bullying and deal with such pain, which is why I'm here again voicing my support for 3Rs. 3Rs not only provides essential information about sexuality, gender, and consent, but it demystifies sexuality and creates an environment safe for all students. Thank you.
Well, I am Ivy Wu, but I'm not speaking for myself. I'm actually speaking on behalf of Rona Popa, the executive director of Afghan Coalition. She was here earlier along with Bruce Green, and they wanted to speak to the board. I talked to them, and they wanted the board to consider having some kind of focus group for their population, because they're really concerned about 3Rs being taught to their population, to their students. So they really want the board to look at an opportunity, to discuss maybe a focus group. As you can see, our population is, the majority of the population in Fremont, are not really well represented by this curriculum. So really would like to ask the board to consider having this discussion at the board meeting and vote on it. Thank you so much.
Halfway there. Bin Li, Esther Lau, Selena Song, Maggie Sun, Simon Lau, Michael Rivera, Tara Dad, Leonard Su, Eileen Shen, Pei Chang, Chihao Chen, Yishia Ingrid Su, Taffy Ding.
Please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Bin Li. Okay, I'm a father. I have two kids in my district, in our district. My daughter is 4th grade and she is 10 years old. And I do want to opt out these inappropriate materials. Okay, my point is here is like the same thing. It's inappropriate and too aggressive for young kids. And the second thing I want to make it clear to the board is like the opt-out process is biased and not well defined. Okay, why I say this is like per your requirement, there are 2 weeks ahead of notice for the parents. But for example, some of the schools, they have the last review session on March 12th, and they start the class in the week of March 12th. So there is a long conformance for this process. It's not well defined and not appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
1 minute. Okay, my name is Simon Lau. Actually, I'm living in Fremont. I don't know why. Last time I attend the 6th grade parent meetings, I feel that there's a lot of communication. It's instruction, order. You are not negotiate. Boy and girl should be teaching together. You are not able to negotiate. This is an order. I feel strange. The law doesn't say anything. Boy and girls should be in the same room education. But I have been ordered. You need to follow. I don't know why we trust the school district, every official, but they said this is a law. But actually we found out, some parents asked me to find out. And then the Youth Act, it doesn't mean we need to, boys and girls, educate together. So until yesterday, there's a legal information said that the law doesn't say we need to educate together. So I feel strange why we have wrong information from the district.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael Rivera. I am a registered Fremont voter, a 42-year resident, and I've been teaching 6th grade for 16 years in the district. I've also been teaching sex ed for 16 years in the district. The first 2 curriculums that we had a lot of holes in them. There were a lot of questions that the kids had, and in respect to the parents, who I have a lot of respect for, I wouldn't answer those questions because the curriculum didn't cover them. This new curriculum, I feel like, does a really good job of tackling a lot of difficult issues. And the reality is, it really focuses a lot on inclusivity, and that's very important. Being a kid in school and not feeling like I belonged, I would have loved a curriculum like this. And I appreciate everybody's attention, and I appreciate the respect and integrity that we can all listen to each other. Thank you.
Next group.
I have a 3 person, Chihao Chen, Yijia Xu, and Evelyn Chen. Hi, I'm a father of a 10th grader and 4th grader and a registered voter in Fremont. And we would like to strongly object to start a sexual education using 3R material for 6 reasons. Number 1, 3R curriculum is not age appropriate. We actually compare the junior high instruction guide with the 3R website. We found at least 1 lesson in grade 7 instruction guide actually supposed to be taught in 8th grade, as according to the 3R recommendation. Similarly, we found at least 3 lessons in grade 8 instruction guide should be taught in grade 9, actually, per 3R recommendation on their website. So do you think the California Framework Committee is more expert than the 3R team themselves? I don't think so. Number 2, 3R curriculum is not complete. They only cover only 1 component of sex education. But California health guidelines require all 6. Why we only choose 1? That's not right. Number 3, sexual education procedure ignore multiple language group of parents. As the other lady mentioned, there are like more than 54% Asian and 24% white, 14% Hispanic in Fremont. But during the 2017 parents meeting, there's only an English speaker, and all the communication is in English only. There's no Chinese, no Hispanic being communicated or presented as a voice of parents. And number 4, co-education environment is not appropriate. There's no law actually mandate the sexual education has to be taught in co-ed environment. So if you think that's not right, please point out the regulation mandate that. Number 5, the law does not require students to in 4th to 6th grade to be taught by sexual education. Why Fremont rush this? The younger we decide to teach our kids about sexual education, the more important we need to select the appropriate material. Number 6, please understand, Up-Bao is not really an option. As you probably know, historically, a lot of Up-Bao students on any subject is easily being ignored, isolated, and looked down. So we don't want our kids being bullied just because they are Up-Bao if we have other choices. So I urge everybody here to be careful and stop using 3R material for sexual education. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Taft. I'm a Fremont parent. Congratulations. You guys did a good job to bring so many people here and cause so much anger. And whatever we are discussing today, it brings division to the community, not union. And that's what you guys are selected for. Apparently something is done wrong here. Let's fix it before it's too late. I had a chance to review some of the content of the 3R. I feel it's not for the purpose of education. I'm an adult. I feel it's a kind of seduction. And in the earlier presentation from the board, one of the justification to present it to kids younger than grade 8, grade 7 is not required by law. But we need why the school district feel it's necessary to give to the younger kids. And the presentation even quote is the decision was made based on some experts. But remember, you are serving for the community, not the expert.
Thank you.
Hi, school board. My name is Ming-Che Pan. I speak on behalf of my wife, Eileen Shen. I'm registered voter as well as a Fremont residency. Actually, I did not prepare anything, but I was keep thinking about this one for a couple days. And I was thinking about something for many people mentioned that. Why we only have a choice to opt out? Why we don't have the like a class, like a college? We can select different class, different course. For on behalf of all the kids, for the parents, who can decide for the kids? It's parents. We're looking for the right material. We're looking for the right course for our kids for future. But the thing is, we don't have option. We don't have a choice. Why don't we prepare 2 different material for the group people? You want to go A, you want to go B, then we don't have to do the opt-out, opt-in option. So which is we can do the selective. So I urge the school board, please add this one into the agenda. Please, we urge you. Thank you so much.
Marcia Squires, and she gets my minute.
Hi, my name is Tara Dad. I am an involved parent of 2 children, one of whom has graduated from Fremont schools, one of whom is currently in 9th grade. I have been actively engaged in this particular conversation about the education of our children, about health and sexuality since 2014. And frankly, I feel like I was a little late to the game because this debate has been going on for many more years than that. I have received, as a parent, from my children's schools, repeated invitations and opportunities to review curriculum, to review content, to be involved in this process. To say that parents have not been invited or involved or informed is inaccurate and incorrect. Most recently, I received an email in October of 2017 from the assistant principal of my son's high school, American High School, with links to the content, links to feedback opportunities, ways of becoming and continuing engaged in this. To the board, thank you for considering this board policy. I very much hope that you will adopt it. I know that you owe your position to Fremont voters, of which I am one, but frankly, I think your greater responsibility is to Fremont students and to Fremont schools and to Fremont educators. I reread your board mission and all of the tenets today, and the primary point of your mission is, and I quote, to provide equitable opportunities that educate, challenge, and inspire students of all ages, talents, and ability levels while preparing each with the skills required to adapt and succeed in an ever-changing world. Part of the ever-changing world of being a preteen and a teen is your own body. It is changing every second. Girls menstruate as young as 9. Little boys get erections from infancy. To mystify their bodies and to mystify these processes does not make them go away. Don't hiss at me, that's rude. Elementary schools, is that my full 2 minutes?
Yes.
Sorry, thank you, thank you.
Kathy Engstrom, Jan, Sanjay Mundari, Venkat, Muraldihar Yadola, Negateja Yadola, Angela Yu, Yoon Teng, Angel Cheng, Newton Cheng, Liana Yin, Lakshmi Krishnamurthy, Alec. Continue.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Engstrom, and I am an FUSD parent. I am here tonight to speak in favor of the adoption of the 3 R's curriculum. Everyone is freaked out that the topic of this curriculum is sex. But what if the topic were different? What if a group of parents in our STEM-focused district decided that they did not want the science curriculum to teach evolution? What would our parent community, and hopefully our board, say? We would say, opt out. We would all say, the district allows you an avenue to exempt your child from the discussion. Again, we would say, opt out. We would not allow a parent group to overrule our educators and the scientific community and change the entire curriculum because a group did not want their child exposed to such ideas. What is the difference with this topic?
Thank you. Next group.
3. My name is Muralidhar Eddulla, and this is my wife Nagateja Eddulla, and this is Chelatambi. Good evening. I'm a parent of Brookwell Elementary School and a registered voter of Fremont, and I am here to ask the board to suspend 3 R's curriculum till parents have a choice to participate in its review and adoption. I and many parents wish we did not have to opt out of the sex education curriculum. However, because of the blatantly age-inappropriate curriculum that is being forced on the children without giving parents any chance to participate in the selection of the curriculum, we are constrained to opt out of the sex education classes. As I mentioned at the last board meeting, I have reviewed the opt-out alternative lessons which are supposed to be about nutrition. I was shocked to see that the lessons for grades 4 to 6 are still sponsored by the National Dairy Council, which is full of inaccurate information. Worse still, there are no real instructions. Students are simply made to watch a video of this drivel. The opt-out curriculum for the 7th or 8th grade is completely random and haphazard. 7th and 8th grade curriculum have almost identical lessons, with the only difference being healthy eating. The body system project of the 4th or 5th grade science is actually used as alternative curriculum for 7th or 8th grade. What a waste of 10 lesson instruction hours for the 7th or 8th grade opt-outs. Also note that the 4th, 5th, 6th grade opt-out classes have mismatched number of hours. The 4th grade opt-out has only 3 lessons. The 6th grade opt-out has only 5 lessons. Both are short of 1 lesson when compared to the hours taken by 3 R's. The staff didn't even care to verify the opt-out materials have the same numbers of lessons. How can we expect them to deliver a good content? That material may have already been used as FUSD opt-out for many years. So they just reuse it again and again without even checking. I seriously question the professionalism of FUSD staff. FDSU fails to put enough effort. May I say it is not even 2% of the effort they put in 3 R's in offering a comprehensive alternate lesson plan with up-to-date, scientifically accurate, age-appropriate, and valuable information to 4th to 8th grade students. who opt out? Is it to punish students who opt out that such a pathetic curriculum is foisted on them? Please change the opt-out curriculum to something that actually gives useful lessons. Further, can parents view the curriculum content as how it is done for 3 hours and also in different languages too? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next group.
Hello, I have 3 more parents, so it's 4 minutes.
Could you, you have altogether
4.
3 minutes.
That's it? 4 of us, right? Okay. It's 4 of us, right?
Yeah, so 3 minutes total.
For 4 of us, all of us are registered. Huh? 3 minutes. Okay. So this, hold on a second, let me introduce them before you start the clock.
Okay.
This is Naresh, this is Arun, this is Sanjay, and I'm Venkat. We're all Fremont residents. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Venkat Krishnamurthy. My son is a 6th grader in FUSD. I'm here to ask the board to reconsider the current sexual education curriculum. Based on the information provided and reviewing the content and talking to other parents from multiple FUSD schools, I find the current sex education curriculum not at all age appropriate for the primary schools. I'm being very specific, it's primary schools. The curriculum is not definitely meant for 9 to 12-year-olds. Again, going back to what has already been presented earlier today, the law clearly states that this education is mandatory only once in 7th and 8th grade and once in high school. Why is why is FUSD doing it from 4th through 9th, which is 6 years? Are we doing the same level of intensity in all other subjects? I don't think so. Another thing is, what happened to the rounded health curriculum? Another key issue that I have with this one is the way this is being implemented without the content being properly curated, and then it's being done in a ham-handed manner and definitely not a requirement for the primary school. If we could rate the current curriculum based on how our movies are rated and which we follow for our kids, I would rate this curriculum as an R-rated movie at the least and an NC-17 at the best. Would any responsible adult allow the child to be taken to a movie when they're not their appropriate age? Having spoken to multiple teachers in multiple schools and multiple parents, these are the 4 messages I'm getting consistently back from the teachers. The content of this curriculum is not age appropriate. Many teachers are advising the parents to pull them out of the class, and teachers have not received adequate training, and teachers' feedback on the content has not been incorporated. And finally, teachers are not comfortable teaching this, and they are feeling forced to do it with no other options. Another key point that I would like to make is we need this content, but this needs to be age appropriate, properly curated, taken through its process before it's introduced. And finally, I would like to talk about when a child goes through puberty. They go through a lot of mental stress and strain. Why are we doing this? Why are we rushing them into this when our 8, 9, 10, and 11 and 12-year-old kids are not ready to receive this information? And finally, I would make a humble request to the board to reconsider all this, make sure that we have an age-appropriate content, and we're able to properly implement it. I would request you to go back to the old curriculum while this is happening without jeopardizing the kids' future as we speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Next group.
Hi.
How many people?
We have Roman, Sophia, Crystal, and myself. So it's
Okay,
altogether
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Thank you.
Well, we already said if for 20 minutes, 20 people will give 20 minutes, chances are they're not going to talk about 20 minutes. So in the long term, we say that's
Did
the
you just
discussion.
give the other group that was sitting here that was 4 people 4 minutes?
No,
or
I
you
didn't
gave
agree.
them 3? So this one gets 3.
They
was 4 people in the last group. There was 4 people in the
So
last group.
it was done in a hurry, but I had a discussion to find
Dr.
out.
Shaw, we will be here until 2 o'clock in the morning. We never give more than 3 minutes, even when we have 2 speakers. So why would we give?
I think we wasted a whole minute there discussing whether I should get the minute or not.
Okay, please proceed.
Thank you. Dear board members, I'm actually very saddened by this. I am in the Instruction and Curricular Committee. I am a parent representative. I joined that committee thinking that I will be given a chance to speak up about the curriculums. I was not given that opportunity. I fail all the parents here. I'm very sorry, but I thought that's what I was representing, the Fremont parents, but I was not given the chance to do that. I've been on that committee since September. All we talked about is homework policy, and mind you, I am all for working on homework policy to make it up to date. But I'm not for diminishing the importance of our health and sex education. Especially when I volunteered, that's what I was wishing, is to provide the opinion of all the Fremont parents for our curriculums. I'm here to ask that we don't provide the sexual health education to 4th to 6th grade as it is not required by the law. First of all, I want to remind the board members of our Fremont community. As indicated by a lot of the previous parents, our community makeup, our demographic is 54% Asian. Yes, we have a different cultural background than a lot of you, and we are proud of it. And we ask that you respect that. Three-hour curriculum is not the only curriculum. There are PPP curriculum out there that 2 other districts had already adopted. San Diego and Cupertino had already abandoned 3-hour curriculums. I'm just asking you to review it and respect our opinions, please. Thank you very much.
Seconds. I urge the school board to give back the rights of sex ed to parents.
Actually, you
They weren't done with the 3 minutes.
right.
The students in California schools are from a diverse background, so the sex attitude then should also be diverse. The average starting age of puberty ranges from 8 years to 14 years for people from different backgrounds and regions. It's not possible for the school district to make a clear cut. I understand some parents who have LGBT child willing to push comprehensive sex ed, but there are also other many parents who don't want graphic sex education. It's not possible for the teacher nor the school district to make a decision for all people and please everyone. So let us give back the rights to parents. Let them opt in. I know some people would would say the new law does not allow for opt-in. This is not the first time California passed a law which is fundamentally flawed. Like only several years ago, we have a constitution in California to forbid same-sex marriage. If
Thank you.
A judge can override California constitution,
Thank you.
who says we cannot override this law?
My name is Lena Yin. Behind me is Newton Chang, and I'm also speaking for Monica Melville, who has a card but had to leave. So first of all,
in that case, you have 2 minutes.
2 minutes still? Okay. Thank you. I am an alumni of the Fremont Unified School District, a registered voter in Fremont, a sexual health educator, a child who shares the cultural background of many of these parents, which has been brought up a lot, and I believe the district is correct in implementing the legally compliant, inclusive, comprehensive, and age-appropriate 3Rs curriculum for the future of our youth and for the educational experience I wish my peers and I had had. Please approve this board policy. We've heard a lot about parents. Let's talk about the kids. All reputable research in the last 30 to 50 years show that early comprehensive sex education as early as kindergarten is critical to ensuring that our children lead happy lives and have healthy relationships. Positive outcomes include lower rates of sexual activity, teen pregnancy, and abuse.
Okay.
All evidence points to the fact that this is not sexualization. This is giving students the information they need to make healthy choices. All the concerns regarding early sexual education raise the cite no studies to support their argument. Furthermore, the 3-hour curriculum is age appropriate. Sexual development is a normal part of life. My peers in 4th grade had already heard of sex from these backgrounds. We're starting their periods, we're experiencing nightly emissions or erections. Wouldn't you rather that they learn these things from a trusted teacher using a curriculum created and thoroughly researched by professionals in the field rather than from the internet? Moreover, such education may not be required from 4 to 6, but it is recommended. It has been policy in this district for the past 6 years, already to no harm, and when offered, it must meet Healthy Youth Act standards, which support the 3-hour curriculum. Finally, I would like to address an opposing argument where mental health and other health topics are important, but not at all relevant to the implementation of this law or curriculum. Learning these topics does not need to come at the expense of critical sexual health education. In conclusion, the district is doing something right here. The education philosophy in Fremont has always been to exceed expectations, and this curriculum exceeds.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to remind the audience that no disruptive speech is allowed. So when a speaker is speaking at the podium, please respect his or her right to speak and do not try to disrupt that speech. Thank you for your cooperation.
Ayub Khan, Sheikh Mohideen, Lance Kwan, Carl Ballard, Vicky Chen, Ya Liang, Moan Wu, Shangming Shan, Selena Song, Sylvia Wong, Lining Wan, Miha Navid, Yonghan Mao, King Wang, Chris Drake, Alice Liu, Muraladhar Yadula, Venkat Krishnamurthy, Sanjay Mandagri, Naresh Nagbuth,
Okay, I'll just replace Selena song. And then actually, okay, my name's Simon.
So you spoke already.
Yeah, but Selena song didn't speak. And then she already left. So can I say? She get the message to me and then I need to say for her. Is it okay? Selena
What's
song.
the opinion of the board?
Are you speaking on behalf of someone, sir?
Yeah.
And who is that?
Selena song.
You just denied somebody prior to doing that, not allowing the girl, and you allowed other people to do it. So
No, that's different because she was simply using that person's minute, like 1 minute, and this person is actually as a proxy speaker,
late,
so it's
yeah.
different.
We don't
We just
know
had,
that.
Miss Wu did a proxy speaker.
Right. So of course you can be a proxy speaker.
I
1
do-
minute, please.
I have a group for the individual he's mentioning, Selena Song.
Yeah. Just mention. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And my name's Simon. And then actually, okay, the well is not only 3 hours. Okay. We have a PPP in there. Okay. A lot of a district, they turn down 3 hours already and choose a PPP from Red Cross. There's a plenty choice for us. Why we only choose this 3 hours? And it's age appropriate, inappropriate for our kids. We want the board change and consider. We are not the rubber stamp to say anything yes. We can say no. We can support and understand what's the parent, why we are so angry about it. There's a PPP in there, not only one choice. Please accept our saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Next group.
Good evening. My team member is Amy Ding and Li Zhao. Yes, I'm Sylvia Wong. thank you for staying late to tonight, and thanks to the audience as well. You guys have been great. Thank you. My name is Sylvia. I'm a mother of a 12-year-old daughter. Just like many of you, I came to this melting pot from China and Asia. Our family have very conservative cultural belief, such as not to have sex until you are mentally and emotionally mature. We raised our daughter conservatively like many of you did. I totally respect people who are more liberal than myself, but equally, I expect the liberal people to also respect our cultural belief as well. The 5,000 people who signed the petition online, they are not against proper education, sex, puberty. They are not even against LBGT. I have a gay friend. I respect and like him. What we are against is improper education at the improper age. We are against teaching 10-year-old sexual intercourse, positions of lovemaking, and how to avoid pregnancy at 10-year-old. That's what we are against. I'm very concerned about the 3 hours curriculum. The content is unnecessarily graphic and overly aggressive. Some content are similar to rated R movies. There's a serious lack of transparency in how it was adopted. Education Code 51938 requires that school district notify parents and guardians at the beginning of each school year, which means August. However, we were not notified properly or sufficiently until September, in some schools, even not until November. The school district at this act has deprived the parents' legal right granted by Education Code 51938. My second concern, school district changed the communication method and throw parents in the dark. In the past, parents need to do nothing if they don't want the kids to receive sex ed, while those who want it need to opt in. Now, if parents do nothing, their kids are automatically get enrolled in sex education. Many parents were not aware of this change. I have the reason to believe that some people do not want parents to sufficiently be notified and quietly push through liberal and too aggressive 3-hour curriculum. Otherwise, why would there such minimal notification? We pay for your salary, so please do your job properly. We have 5,000 people sign petition to against our objection loud and clear. What can you show as proof that you have collected parents' feedback, and how many feedback have you received? My third concern, law does not require sex ed for 4 to 6-year-old grades. These are innocent kids. My daughter...
Please conclude with one sentence.
No 3R, you can choose PPP. There is an alternative. Thank you.
Next group.
Hi, good evening. My name is Queen Wang. I'm a Fremont resident, registered voter. I have 2 kids. First of all, I thank you all for spending your precious time with us, staying so late. I do appreciate that. And Fremont is a beautiful city. I really love it. I don't see any point we keep arguing, debate forever. As you can see, Fremont, the population is very versatile. We have different cultures, 60% Asians. We have different culture. It's hard for us to persuade either party. So in my opinion, if we want to live in peace, we respect each other. So why don't we drop this, debatable, so controversial issue? Just do the basic. Let the parents, if you want teach your kids this way, do it at home. Or teach your own kids, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Next group.
Hello, my name is Vicky Chen, and this is Xiao Dan, and this is Yaling. Good evening, board. I'm actually mother of 2 elementary students in Fremont Unified School District, and also a registered Fremont voter. I attended the past 2 sessions here to learn more, and now I'm deeply concerned, and this age-inappropriate sex education. Today, I'm here to ask the board to suspend this 3-hour curriculum until parents can participate in the review and adopting process. In late February, that's my story, I got an email from our teacher telling parents, please review the content. And even the teacher personally feels this content is too mature for a sixth grader. I review it, I'm totally shocked about such irresponsible content. And I think it raised a huge alert to me as a parent to trust our used to be good health education. Luckily, I have such responsible and thoughtful teacher in our school. And also, I discussed this issue with my daughter. As parents, I say, girls, you got a health education, sex education this year, and you will be taught in the same classroom with boys. This is my reaction. Oh my God, mommy, it's ridiculous. Open mouth, please. So I asked my friends in Cupertino, and they actually told me they're using this is PPP for their students. And from what I heard, PPP trains parents before training their students. This is the right way to provide as parents, the positive education environment for our kids. But in Fremont schools here, as parents, we were only notified by the decision with some researchers without showing any significant and scientific evidence of such a circular. This is not acceptable. Sorry. Yes, you can easily see and in response say, opt out if you don't like it. But our kids have all the rights to receive age-appropriate, comprehensive, total health education. We should not have resort to opt out our kids because this inappropriate content. This is actually result to me. Actually, I have to seek other opportunities as parents to pay and teach my kids on this important health education outside our public school system this year. This is not good sign for us as a community to be forced to abandon our used to be good public education. But I don't want to simply give up my hope and trust to our used to be good public schools. Please, board members, I need your help. We need your help to support our kids, our innocent kids, to create a positive, appropriate, comprehensive education environment. So the law does not require teaching sex education in elementary school. Please don't teach it.
Thank you.
Please suspend the 3R curriculum. Thank you.
Next group, please.
I just want to make a quick announcement. The lighting system on the microphone is not working, and so when you do have under a minute, it should have been lighting up to yellow, and it's not doing it. So when it beeps, you'll know that your time's up.
Thank you for the reminder. Please proceed.
My name is Yang Hongmao, parent from American High School area.
Is the light
on?
Hello?
What's wrong?
Yep.
Good? Okay. Yep. My name is Yang Hongmao, a parent from American High School area and a registered voter in Fremont. I'm very concerned with 3R, which has too much of a focus on teaching kids everything about sex, encouraging them to pursue their random thoughts, follow their impulses, and explore all possible sexual activities. Instead, I think the focus should be to help our kids learn about puberty, how to respect themselves and others, and how to make important decisions in life, how to exercise impulse control to avoid risky behavior with consequences that they'll regret later in their lives. 3R is confusing all kids, no matter what their sexual orientation is. Please suspend 3R and get the school board and parents involved to choose a much better curriculum for all kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Jinghua Hu.
I'm Purabhi Ghosh.
My name is Mina Naveed, and I'm one very concerned FUSD parent. My deepest concerns are about the 3R sex curriculum. It is being rolled out this year without parental involvement and proper board's approval. There have been so many procedural errors made, like lack of sensitivity towards cultural and ethnic backgrounds of the Fremont families. District staff had been frantically changing the website info as they hear more complaints from the concerned parents. However, even by providing notices in Spanish and Mandarin in addition to English, it still does not take into account the fact that some parents don't have computers. How can they get to the website to check out all the lessons and resources? Thank you for trying to fix the content on your website. The problem is, instructional guide is still in English only. This, to us, is discrimination. We are concerned about the age appropriateness of the curriculum. The content is way too explicit and sexual in nature. When children are taught academics, they are provided with the material suitable for their level of readiness for the material. Yet, when it comes down to such an extremely sensitive area of sexuality, all the children in the same grade level are given the same material, totally ignoring the psychological and emotional impact it is going to have on very frail minds of these young kids. This is insensitive and harmful. The law does not require students in elementary schools to receive sex ed. So don't teach it. My question from FUSD is that why you are rushing our kids into it. 3R is not comprehensive health education. It totally undermines the importance of 5 other main components of health. It is very dire need of time that schools incorporate comprehensive mental health, nutritional and physical health into their curriculum. I urge the board to please put comprehensive health education on your next board meeting agenda. On the opt-out is not an option for us. I want my child to attend total health education. I want her to understand how her body works. She needs to know all this. She needs to know how to say no to drugs. So opt-out is not an option for me. I want total health education. There is an alternative option available, PPP. A lot of districts around the state have adopted it with very successful rate. So why can't we adopt PPP? Just not 3R. This is not right for our kids. Thank you.
Opt-out is not our option. Suspend the 3Rs, please.
Thank you. Next group.
My name is Alex, and I'm a transgender Asian American student. In the last 6 years that sex ed was a part of my curriculum, I was never taught anything about transgender people in school, and that led to a lot of unnecessary suffering on my end. No one ever told me that what I was feeling was called gender dysphoria and that it was normal. I spent years feeling like a freak just because my gender expression didn't conform to what other people believed it should look like. I don't want any other kid to have to go through that. And if we can take this opportunity to teach kids that it's okay to be different and that it's a normal part of growing up to question your identity, I believe that we can prevent any more kids from feeling that way. In response to the speaker who said that this was not a civil rights issue, it is. By implementing sex education that is segregated by biological sex, you are harming transgender students. Not all of us fit the gender binary. Maybe you're worried that sex ed will expose your child to content that they aren't ready for.
Thank you. Next group, please.
Hello, board members. My name is Li Ning Wan.
My name is Mei Jin.
My name is Xi Zhijia. So I have 3 minutes. Dear board members, I have 2 children in the school district, and I'm a voter living in Fremont for over 15 years. I'm here to express my concern about the new sex ed instructional guide and materials. My point number 1, the content is too advanced for most students in our community and will harm them emotionally and mentally, leaving them confused and stressed. For those who argue otherwise, I ask to see local statistics for Fremont to prove your point. I understand the law requires the education of certain contents. However, how much depth to teach is at the district's discretion. The law only requires sex ed to be taught once in middle school and once in high school. For those small small percentage of children who do need more advanced sex ed early on, may I suggest that their parents teach them at home. After all, this is what many parents do when their children need more advanced teaching in math, science, and English. Point number 2, opting out is not an option for parents. I want my children to receive appropriate sex education. Historically, opt-out children have been ignored, ridiculed, looked down upon. They have been made to feel like outcasts being left alone in the library, or worse, on the bench outside the classroom. I have heard tearful stories for children opting out, being given excessive homework in the alternative curriculum, and being graded down, while other children got easy A's. This is discrimination. The district has not spent any effort on the curriculum for these opt-out middle school children in the past. Although in the past few days something was put together quickly, it clearly lacks the careful design and planning and teacher training which these children deserves. In addition, there's only one set of content for middle school and one set of content for elementary school. My point number 3. Children should learn responsibilities that comes with adult-like behavior and the dire consequences and legal implications if overstepping a dedicatedly defined boundary. The school will be teaching children it's okay to have sex whenever you feel you are ready, and how to do it, and how to avoid parents to be involved, without telling them the potential legal implication that could ruin their future if they make a mistake. When these children got too curious and get into trouble from this type of education, it is these children and their parents who will have to bear the severe consequences, sometimes for a lifetime. In summary, today I plead to you, number 1, to stop the 3R teaching this year and involve parents to choose and design a curriculum. 2, provide opt-out children with a carefully designed curriculum alternative with teacher training and requires fair grading policy. 3.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mina Naveed, Nafed bin Anwar, Bruce Green, Heidi Barnes, Lakshman Kakirala, Naveed bin Anwar, Mina Naveed, Younghan Mao, Uday Gakarn, Jianlong Yuan, Hongmei Han, Kella Thumbi, Evelyn Cheng, Ming Che Pan.
My name is Heidi Barnes, and I'm here as a parent and a nurse. I'm here for the children. As a nurse, I've been in the classrooms with 6th graders and younger students for Career Day. And when asked for questions from the kids, they asked about where babies come from. They have asked about abortion and things like that. Their older sisters have had abortions, and they're talking about this with other kids. They are talking about having sex and what constitutes having sex and what doesn't. These are questions I was shocked with. And I looked at the teacher, and the teacher said, if you don't tell them about it, they will learn from each other, and the info will be wrong. And some kids can't even talk to their parents about it. Some students in high school and in middle school believe that they are virgins, but they have oral sex.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Lakshman. I'm here to support sex education for our kids. A lot of speakers before me have made most of the points, so I won't go into that. I'd just like to make one point. I've been here for the last 3 meetings where a lot of parents have come here and talked about NGSS and dual pathways, where the most important point they were making is give the kids and parents a choice. Trust them, trust the parents and kids to make the right choice that is appropriate for their kids. So it's disheartening to see a group of parents trying to take the choice away because it does not conform to their beliefs by Guthrie or any and things like that. There are parents that actually believe that this is right for their kids. So please do not take that choice away from them. One last thing, the education curriculum should not be the least common denominator of beliefs and bigotry. It should be something that is important for the kids to become better citizens all through their life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tommy Shu, Jupin Lane, Pushpa, Cynthia Jacob, Parkia Vance, Latha Naveed, Uday Gokarn, Prashantha Tharolia, Ravi Devardapalli, Arun Ramani, Tara Lee, Van Lay, Pushpa, Cynthia Jacob, Hong Wen Jiao, Anjali Rao, Alka Shingwikar, Beiling Wang, Ingrid Liang, Monica Melville, Irene Chen.
Please proceed.
Hello, I'm Tony Zhu, a registered voter and a father of 2 students in FUSD, and honorable trustee members. And today, many parents already expressed their points, great points, and I 100% agree with them. So I don't have to repeat their points. So here I just make some points to your honorable and the trustees. You are elected by us, the parents in this room, not by those social justice warriors who aggressively promote their ideological agendas. So yeah, please don't bypass all the parents for their children. The parents need to be consulted, not those people. Thank you so much.
Thank
Sir,
you.
what is your name?
Hi, I'm Cynthia. I'm a parent of a 4th grader. So I'm here to focus on the appropriate of the sex education. So when we say appropriateness of a curriculum, we say that's not just about when to teach certain things. This is about the procedure. For elementary school level, the kids should learn more about their own bodies, and they should learn why they should accept the natural changes, and they should also know why they should have a good care of it. This all has to be taught before starting the conversation of relationship and interactions. For certain topics, the boys and girls should have separated learning section to have a better understanding of their own bodies, self-acceptance, with basic knowledge of respect to other people's changes as well. After a good understanding of that, it can be directed to the beginning level of sexual interest and to how to take care of themselves in relationships, which can be gently mentioned in the very end of elementary school. But the current curriculum doesn't seem to have enough support of kids' self-awareness and acceptance, but have too much emphasis on the interaction and relationships part. We will definitely like to have a mature version of the sex and health curriculum to fully support our kids. So it is really important to have FUSD reconsider the current version. Thank you.
Thank you. Next group.
Hi, my name is Prashant, and I'm a parent of a 5th grader in Warm Springs Elementary. Like, first of all, I have nothing against anybody's sexual orientation, and I respect everyone, and I like everyone immaterial of what they want to do and love. I come here because I deeply because I thought that something that I deeply believed and something that I really loved, my own kids, were endangered. Why did I think so? Because one, when all the feedbacks were taken, somehow it was taken in a manner when most of us, everybody that I knew, was not at all involved. When we got involved, change.org has 5,000 plus votes on there. Please consider our votes. Please involve us. material is too graphic. We went through it, and I'll tell you, between me and my wife, we thought that it was more of a pornography than an education material.
Thank you.
I don't want.
Thank you. Your time is up.
President Shao, we're due for a break.
Is this the last group?
No.
Okay. So after this group, we're going to have a break.
Hi, board. My name is Fanley. I am a Fremont resident with elementary school kid. I appreciate the opportunity for me to finish my points I started earlier. I'm very concerned and almost worried seeing that a school district try to rush into new practices, such as extended sex educations, even when the whole district is not ready, even when there are more needed items crying for resources. Teachers are crying for time and resources for preparing the necessary instruction time, prep time, school club, and other existing activities on various campuses. Kids are losing precious instruction time due to budget reduction. Please don't burden the entire community on something that is not even suggested by the California Education Code. Please slow down, plan and prepare before rushing into actions. Let's prepare thoroughly and put proper plan and engagement of parent, student, communities. Residents vote for school district board members for a reason. So please, they cannot simply be bypassed by the AR 6142.3. So I strongly request you to say no to the AR 6142.3. Thank you.
Thank you. It's time for us to take the third break of the night for 10 minutes. And as usual, I would like to make the same announcement. Do not leave the room you're currently in, or the PD will remove you from the building. So we'll reconvene at 11:45. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I had it written down and I forgot.
Repeated conversations. So a lot of people have left.
Huh?
Only the stack, but a lot have left because I'm putting away.
Right.
All those didn't show up.
Right. So by percentage.
There's still remaining speakers. Yes.
Yeah, but by percentage, I don't think many people are going to show up. We already left.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, that whole stack is left. Those did not respond.
Oh wow.
I called them, but they didn't respond, so I put them.
Right. Okay.
Which is great. We're almost there.
Almost there.
Almost there. It's time. It's almost needed, right? Well, that's it. I'm like, yeah.
嘿，你好，谢来。
搞得好晚啊！
对啊，我们常常这么晚的。
好辛苦啊！
没办法。对。好，那反正你们可以留就尽量留了，把这个讨论完。跟大家讲说再坚持一下，因为我们需要支持。啊？对。
星期五还要最后一轮。
星期五对，应该是。 对对对，应该是，应该是。我还在咳嗽哈。
他们投票就要看谁，因为他们的票你要知道谁。
Can we lose some of these cards? Could they get lost if they...
That it? Is that the stack right there?
I think that's the end of it. Oh no. I think those are the ones that didn't come forward yet. But I don't know. Oh, and they're done. She's not going to stay. She's going to quit if every meeting's like this in the last couple.
So,
Couple.
No, what I'm saying is, could we have done the meeting?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, we could have. We've done that in the past where it's been a huge meeting. If that's easier for staff to control, you know, a one-item meeting. Yeah, we could have done that.
Just
this should be the end of it.
Hopefully. Or something to
Absolutely.
We have.
The thing with the gym is just the acoustics are always so terrible. So maybe we do it at a church. Valhalla would work. If everything worked. You know, the police are all gone now.
They are, but I still have the lights.
I'm sorry, why don't you say something? I would have got that for you.
I still have the lights on outside. I actually have the portable lights.
Oh my God.
Just in case.
I think I'll stay.
Everybody's critical of you.
I think that was probably that's what's better acoustic was in Valhalla. The gymnasium is going to be
Just like America.
You're right, acoustic.
That would just be This we're almost done. Well, we're almost starting.
How many do you think you have left? 50?
Please be seated. We're going to continue our meeting soon.
I told them once the overflow room is done, then they can leave.
Yes.
Are we ready?
Yeah, bring the whole thing. Just bring the whole thing over there.
Welcome back to the board meeting of Fremont Unified School District on March 28, 2018. We're still in the middle of item number 15.4, and we're still in the middle of public speech. If possible, could Ms. Sandoval announce the next group? Ms. Sandoval, sorry, we're waiting
My
for you.
apologies. Shashwat Kumar, Arthur Wang, Sana Tung, Basanya Low, Patricia Lam, Carol Zilli, Josephine Shen, Jing Zhao, Jenny Three, my apologies, Jenny Thi, Guangshan Lao, Taffy Ding, Sonia Lao, Dick Wen, Li or Lai Ding, Shujun Wu, Roman Chen, Rona Popal, Sunitha Devi, Arshana Hangalori, Linda Delaney, Leonard Su, Yishia Ingrid Su, Ivy Wu. No? I have two more cards for Ms. Wu.
Okay, please proceed.
Hello, my name is Shashwat. First of all, I support inclusiveness, but I have concern on sexual education to 9 to 10 years old kids. Yes, it's important in middle school, but it should be taught in fact only scientific manner without explicit detail about intercourse. Current lesson is not age appropriate. I want to understand if there is any data which support this curriculum is needed for younger kids like 9 years old. What are the benefits of a girl knowing about wet dreams in such a young age? On every cigarette packet, it's clearly written that smoking is injurious to health. But do you think that people really stop smoking? It's a dangerous exposure to our kid, giving to kid to try out these acts. Young kids are not mature enough to think on what is right or wrong, but on one thing is 100% sure, that they are super curious on anything new.
Thank you.
I request you to reconsider curriculum on sexual education.
Thank you.
And I have with me.
My name is Samantha.
Sarah. This is about lives, and this is about all lives, and love and respect for all people, regardless of what you look like, what your gender is, and so forth. We know that everyone in this room cares. Here, everyone cares. But this curriculum is not good. Not good. If there's any ACLU members left in here, why don't you ever speak for parent rights? They never talk about parent rights. Who created these children? If it wasn't for the parents, there would be no schools. So they created the children. I think a very important thing is the district has a controversial issues policy, and it is Board Policy 6144. Sex education is controversial, and people are not against sex education. The question is, what kind? And if it is controversial, there's a policy the district has, and the students have a right to study those issues, but concerning which the student at his or her level should begin to have an opinion. Does a fourth grader have an opinion? Or definitely a kindergartner, first grader, second grader. When kindergarten was, a fourth grader doesn't probably even have an opinion about gender. Children don't see gender. They see people that they play with in the play yard, and they care about them. But he has a right to these issues, and parents, it's right in that board policy that it's subject to parental permission, much of this information, but a student at his or her level. Who determines what level a child is at? So I do want to go back to AB 329. Age appropriate refers to topics, messages, and teaching methods suitable to particular ages or age groups of children based on developing cognitive, emotional, and behavioral capacity. Who judges that? Does every teacher know that broad spectrum of maturity in that classroom? I care about those children who didn't opt out. Also, I care about the ones that are in there, and they're hearing information that they're even not ready for. And it is confusing. Boy, you talk about education. Why should education confuse children? Education is supposed to lift them up, make them see that in life, it's not just about you and self-absorption and what sexual activity you want to be in. It's about respect for yourself, learn about your body, care about people, and get out of yourself and see what you can do to make this world a better place. All of this sex education is keep sex. Isn't it enough in the society? Oh my gosh. It's adding to what is out there. Get them off of that subject. They have so much more that makes them human beings, even people who are confused.
Thank you.
We must love and respect everyone.
President Shao.
So,
President Shao, I have a few cards of individuals who submitted a card, but there was no item number and or subject specified.
in that case, those cards shall not be honored simply because they didn't specify the item number.
Okay. We're all done. We're all done.
Okay, that concludes the public speech on this item, and the board shall have the floor. Do we have anyone in queue? Student board member.
Okay, thank you. So let's all take a moment to remember why we're here. We're here to talk about students. And no one in this room is a student going through FUSD schools except for the exception of, I think, me and maybe a couple of others. So only a few of us in this room know what it's really like to be a student going to Fremont schools. And the rest of us, we're adults who are trying to make the best decisions for our students. California law states that when health education is introduced, all the major topics will be introduced at that time. However, the material will be grade level appropriate. So now let's talk about what kids learn and when they learn it. For the majority of the day, children are with their parents. But for 6 hours of that day, they're with their peers, their friends, their teachers, they're in school. And in those 6 hours of that day, they're talking to their peers. They're learning whatever they want. They're talking as much as they want. And if students are not learning from teachers, they're learning from songs, they're learning from movies, they're learning from TV shows. And I think that's quite amazing if you think about it. If your kids have access to social media platforms, if they listen to the radio, if they watch movies, they're being exposed to all types of material. So many students have begun puberty by 4th grade. They need to know what is going on with their bodies rather than learning bits and pieces from their peers or from movies or from songs, anything else. It's important that we respect the educators who have proper material to teach this kind of content. If we have students who are not in these programs or who are not taking these classes, then we have uninformed students. And I think that really hurts the entire school in general. So let's talk about co-ed or separated classrooms. I just want to remind everyone that by the time students enter junior high school, students will already be taught health ed in a co-ed environment. And as they continue into high school, health classes are also co-ed. I just want to put that out there. We understand that content can be mature for younger students. That's why parents are still welcome to see and review the content before it's shown to students. Parents, you guys have the ability to talk to your students about whatever content is being addressed in the classroom. At home is your opportunity to talk to your kids about whatever is being taught. And you can share your own opinions or your family's opinions with your students at home. But remember, if you opt your students out, they will probably still ask their peers questions. Hey, what did I miss? What happened in there? And peers are not actual teachers with proper material. I think that's all for right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Campbell.
Mrs. Anderson, Dr. Herman, and lawyer. Thank you so much for taking your time to sit here and listen to, I think it was 3 hours worth of public comments, both the pros and the cons, just like we had to deal with the NGSS prior to this. We're trying to find a sweet spot. We're trying to find a compromise. I think what saddens me the most as I sit here and I listen to the parents and the community as they talk about this issue is that we seem to be in a them and they environment as opposed to a we and us, and that we are not looking at this in a way that says parents versus staff or parents versus the board, instead of coming together and really looking at this for the purpose in which it's intended, and that is the safety of our children, the mental health of our children, the physical activity of all the 6 content parts that we had talked about. So I just want, and then I heard somebody say that they're not of the same ethnic groups. so we certainly couldn't understand. But I think we all share the same values. Even though we may not be of the same ethnic group, we can come together and honestly say that we want the best for all the students in Fremont. And that's another thing that really kind of saddened me as I listened to this. We don't want our kids exposed to, I mean, I'm talking about myself personally. I don't want my kids exposed to anything that would be harmful or detrimental to them. And I share the same thing for all of the other parents here. I don't want your kids exposed to anything that's going to be detrimental or harmful to them. We're here to educate and to inspire and to ensure that students get the information that they need. With that said, these are very informed parents who love their kids and who are out here advocating for their kids. Not all families are like that. Not all kids have informed parents who are going to advocate for them and stand up for their rights. I mean, I could honestly say that for myself because that didn't happen for me when I was a young girl. So I understand that, so what I want us to think about is, what does a young girl, a young boy at the age of 9 years old, what are they really going through? Is this content too advanced for them? Because what I'm hearing from some of the parents is that, yes, it's too advanced for them. They loved what we had before. They don't want to opt out. Is there a compromise there somewhere? Can we say, for example, can we keep the current videos that we have and take out the sex ed and HIV so that we can continue to offer something and still be in compliance? Can we create a committee or of some sort that that the parents could be a part of to help in the design and moving forward with a curriculum in the future? And then I also heard that the curriculum and instruction committee didn't have the health and puberty education component that the parents could be involved in. There was one parent who was very adamant about that, and I heard that. Until we can find or come to some common ground, this is always going to be a very divisive topic. We're just in a community that it's always going to be that way for us. So what I would like to do is for us to get to a we and us environment so that we can work together to find a curriculum that's age appropriate, that's medically sound, legal, and all the things that we need to do to ensure that our students do get that, because I believe that they need to have it, but it's the what and the when. So what do we do to get it?
Trustee Sweeney.
Okay.
Trustee Sweeney.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shao. I just want to, because it came up tonight and I was not aware of it, and I apologize for my ignorance, but I want to read what it said on the minutes when it was presented to the Health and Curriculum Committee in October, verbatim from the minutes of the meeting. The instructional services portion of the Fremont School District is recommending to replace the current 4 to 8 sex ed curriculum. The Curriculum and Instruction Advisory Committee is only be invited to enter online feedback, as the rest of the community is also invited to. The Curriculum Instruction Advisory Committee will not be voting on this or making a recommendation. Even though feedback is being requested, the plan is not to make changes to the curriculum. It is a free curriculum from a third-party group. It cannot be and will not be modified. The decision from the school district will be to use it as is. That never came to the board. That's unacceptable to me.
Can I ask a question? So, how many years ago was the Curriculum and Instruction Committee started?
20.
It's
Easy.
what,
It was
3
before I-
years
ago.
Oh, this
Yeah.
curriculum, sex education. Okay,
Yeah, right.
Curriculum instruction.
So when I was on curriculum instruction, when it was started, we also had a presentation about sex ed. So I don't think this was the only time it was brought. I think it's been brought a number of times. This was like, okay, here we are, we're at the final. So I appreciate the woman who spoke, and I'm heartbroken that you felt like you weren't able to represent appropriately, and I think that was maybe why.
Well, when it says the decision from the school district will be to use it as is, that's not based on anything from the board. That's one of the beauties. We used to have a sex education committee specifically for this, and it would have both extremes, for lack of a better term, and when they would come up with a recommendation, it was a very valuable recommendation because it was two groups who were diametrically opposed, who would agree on certain things. And it would come to the board, we would still have a contentious meeting, but at least there would be some direction from the community that it had at least been placed in the community for discussion. This is not the case here. So I on that alone, and I've said this many times with other committees, I'm not a fan of information going to committee and the committee makes a decision that night. It should go to the committee, they should have a month or whenever their next meeting is to look at it. And I keep saying over and over, I'm not going to vote to support this because it's just not fair. I do think it's not fair in this case. The opt-out is very troubling to me, and I mentioned that before. The curriculum for the opt-out from the Dairy Council is pathetic. Is pathetic. When I access this data, when I went online as a parent 17 days ago to look at the data to see what curriculum was being proposed, you had to sign in, you had to say what school, you had to say where your child went. That's not acceptable. That if that and it was taken down.
I believe that was done in response because there was concerns brought to us by parents to say their kids were going to get access, so they made an accommodation for us to make sure that nobody was able to get into it unless they were a parent.
But they should have come to us before they did that, because access, once if a child can get on the web, they can access anything, which I think is all sides agree. I'm very sensitive to the language issue, that it was not offered, at least the overview to the parents in other languages, and I think that's something that might expose us to some type of certainly a delay in putting this out. I have a couple pages here, but I do want to say, just to reiterate, I can't believe that this has been rolled out like this, that the board has been usurped, that it was just going to go into play without a board vote. It is a complete a leap of faith, so to speak, on different things, whether it's mixed class, 4 to 6, all this other sort of thing. I'm not supportive of the recommendation.
Vice President Dr. Burke.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all the emails that we've gotten. Be assured that we have received them and that we've read them, and your presence here tonight emphasizes how important this is to everybody. However, I do believe it's a shame that outside entities are politicizing the health and welfare of our children. We are on a path to comply with the law to provide healthy facts and information to our children so that they are not kept in the dark about what is happening to their bodies, and how to have safe and healthy relationships so that they break the cycle of violence, and that they understand the importance of good choices for their own well-being. Families have always had and will continue to have the right to opt out to any parts of instruction that they feel their children should not be exposed to. Having said that, I believe that the agenda item is to approve the first reading of the new board policy. We're not talking about the actual curriculum here, we're talking about the board policy. So with that, I move to approve the first reading of new board policy 6142.3, sexual health and HIV/AIDS prevention instruction, and review the administrative regulation.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Because I absolutely agree this is for the first reading, but content is going to be taught next month. It's never come to the board to approve the content. So how are we?
But that's not on the agenda. The agenda is the board policy.
I understand. Okay, I just want to be clear.
We have a motion on the floor, and for the point of order, let's see if we have a yes. Dr. Brooks just made a motion to.
Can I have just a point of clarification? There's one place in the board policy that has an or maybe it's in the AR. Is it in the AR? Okay.
Yes.
But that's not a point of order. There's a motion on the floor. Until there's a second, we need to.
I want to clarify that so I can second. That's all.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. So,
But if it's in the AR, then I'll go ahead and second.
okay, then we continue the discussion. Okay. With no one else on queue, I would like to just share my point of view. First of all, I was a little bit confused, at least, or even surprised to find out that the information provided to the board, as well as to the public in terms of compliance to the law, is contradictory. To be the least, we believe that why in the beginning the current curriculum needs to be changed is under the understanding that we are not compliant to the law. However, the law itself is not clearly interpreted to us in terms of our obligation and our discretion as the board or as the school district, so that the board was somehow misinformed about the number of choices that the board would have. With that, I'm so happy that we have Mr. Simmons present, so that any question about the legal obligation of this school district, as well as the legal liability of this school district, can be explained clearly, not only to the board, but also to the public tonight. So that's the first thing I want to express. Because after all, as the public officials voted by the voters, our obligation is to follow the law. So that being said, I actually was on the Curriculum and Instruction Committee for the year 2017, and to the best of my recollection, there was not a discussion of the sex education material within the group on the agenda, and that certainly fits my collection of the meeting minutes and meeting agenda. So with that, I question the whole process, whether it's just a process that would completely bypass the participation of the board, whether it was the past practice, which I was informed not be the case in the past, simply because we have former school board members testify that the flash material has been voted by the board. So with that said, I related to what this specific board policy, I question, first of all, why do we need this board policy in the first place, since we already have a set of comprehensive board policies regarding all the curriculums, including all the subjects. And second of all, I do not see even in the board policy where the board would have the right to intervene and vote on the material, as I read through the draft, and if the staff could provide any explanation to the role of the board on the curriculum, especially the sex education curriculum, that'll be great. And with that, I will pause and wait for the answers from the staff as to where in the board policy the participation and discretion of the board is safeguarded and guaranteed.
It's not in there.
No, not in this.
It's not in there.
And
But there is a board policy, that one of the parents just mentioned to us 6161, which when you read through it, it does say the governing board is responsible for the adoption, selection of textbooks and other instructional materials as defined in Ed Code 6001 for K through 8 education. Then it gives us another code, and for 9 through 12 another code. So this policy really authorizes the board to approve materials, instructional materials.
If I can also add, and we have a variety of policies, and we clearly need to update many of them.
Yes.
Because there's one on curriculum guides, and it's 6143, adopted in 1984. So we would need to bring that back for an update. It does not actually have board action in that one, and I think that that's the one by which the curriculum guide was being presented to the board in December, and it wasn't brought forward to board approval. But I can completely understand why there's confusion, because there's a lot of different board policies that are being brought up, and some may contradict each other.
Right, but and that's I guess that would be my point at this point, is that because there are, and even with 6141, you saw the little chart, and at the end of the chart it stopped at board. So yes, but the policy that we're looking at does not allow for that, because it's just not in there. And because I believe the practice may have been, or the protocol may have been, that instructional guides were not approved by the board. So it was more of a protocol as opposed to a board policy. Is that correct?
Well, I think that this one, that we just lifted this completely from CSBA, and so this is verbatim from there, except for what's in blue. That was what the practices from FUSD were. So this is specific to this topic. It's not about curriculum in general. So
no, well, I think it is, and maybe I should rephrase what I'm thinking. The idea is that the double R's, it came to us. To Mrs. Anderson's credit, she sent it to us and let us review it before it came to the board for review. But it came to us, when it did come to us, it came to us as an informational item. So it wasn't like we didn't have an opportunity to view it, but we didn't have an opportunity to vote on it. So what I'm saying is the reason why we probably didn't have an opportunity to vote on it, because it's been the protocol that the board does not vote on. No?
No, and I think you can ask any of the former board members who are here. We've always, one of the jobs of a board is to approve the curriculum.
Hey, Trustee Crosby.
Thank you. Looking at the minutes from the meeting that it was covered, you weren't present, which is probably why you don't remember it being discussed. So that's understandable. Positive Prevention Plus, wasn't it one of the ones that we looked at one point? My memory is that there was a cost associated, or that the lessons were too long.
Correct. So I think I'm going to address a couple things. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So let me start first with the instructional guides and your question. So when we started this journey about 2 years ago, when the law changed, and we looked at so many things out there, nothing was in compliance. We waited to see if something would be, and it wasn't. So we started looking at instead of bring something forward that's not in compliance at cost, what can I do to create an instructional guide with resources that are out there that we can become compliant with the law. And that's where 3Rs came in. And we did have, and now I'm going to kind of combine a couple of the issues. In January 17th, in the Curriculum Instruction Committee, and like Mrs. Crosby said, there's been multiple presentations in the last 2 years. And on January 17th, in 2017, excuse me, when we presented, for 4 through 6, we weren't in compliance. So that's where, and that was the feedback, and I have the minutes there for that. That was the feedback from the CNI Advisory Committee. So then what we did is we had 2 parents from that committee that joined us to look at the 3 R's curriculum. And that started in March of 2017. So then from there, we then got a group of teachers together, myself, program managers, FUDTA representative, and we went through a 3 R's training in Oakland to see what was in there. Could we move forward to create this instructional guide? Instructional guides are fluid. That means as we are getting information from parents and teachers, we can make changes. And so let me go to the October 17th. Yes, I probably could have handled that a little bit differently. However, what I wanted them to do was do what the parents were doing too, and look at the instructional guides, give us feedback so we can then analyze it, and they put their name in there, or that they're a CNI advisory committee, because we then took all that feedback and we went back again with the group and made some changes. So I think I answered most of the questions.
I have a couple, and you might actually come into assistance here. There were parents who mentioned opt-out, and why can't we just do opt-out?
Yeah, so the law as amended is very clear now that I think the question posed by the parents is why can't we do opt-in? And as amended, the California Healthy Youth Act makes it express that opt-out is the only method that can be used in this instructional area. There was ambiguity before the amendments. Now, any instruction that falls under comprehensive sexual health education or HIV prevention education, which have broader and more a wider scope of meaning than what their terms themselves might suggest, opt-out is the only way it can be done. And I would mention that, and the board knows this, there's only one area of curriculum that the California legislature has always permitted opt-out, and the recognition is this is a hard topic, and it is hard for families, and it's why you have such impassioned views on both sides. It is the only area of required instruction in which there is the ability to opt out if you disagree or aren't comfortable with the nature of the instruction.
And does the law say anything about requiring permission slips? Because that was the other thing, that was like, we're not actually given a slip that we can fill out, and that maybe could be in multiple languages and like that.
All right, so the statute itself says the opt-out must be in writing. I have heard different positions on that, including the idea, because historically what was utilized as the opt-out was the form that's sent home and the ability to check the box and sign. I have heard the position taken that to be under the new act, for it to be in writing opt-out, that checking a box and signing is not adequate. I think there is a fair argument that a box in which explains what is being asked and there is in writing and checked off and returned arguably meets that standard. But I do know that there are folks that take positions that isn't adequate, and so having a form in which you notify parents of the right to opt out and then have them write in that they're opting out and return is probably the safest way to ensure that you're legally compliant in that way. But it has to be in writing, that's for certain.
Can I ask a follow-on question with the same opt-out? Because I heard one of the parents say that we're not making it easy enough for them to be able to do it. Can we have a link on the website? You can click the link, and the link sends a form off to the curriculum and instruction department, so that becomes a electronic version of that?
Board Member Campbell, as long as it's in writing, so an email would satisfy that. Again, a written email doesn't have to be a handwritten message, but an email address in which parents could send an email confirming that they're opting out would be adequate. I think some form of return in writing, even if automated, arguably gets you there. But again, I acknowledge that I've heard the position taken that it can't. There's almost at least I've heard the position taken that that to make it too easy is not meeting the requirement of wanting parents to actually
Oh, I
consider,
see.
do I want to opt out or don't I? And if I do, I'm going to put it in writing, whether in an email or somehow.
I would think also, given how strongly some of these parents, I mean, if I were you, I'd be handing it, hello, teacher, here, I want you to take this, I want you to know I'm turning this in, would be kind of how I would feel about it if I felt that strongly.
Trustee Cosby, can I just add as a parent of a current student, so I'm not a student, but I have one, who's going through puberty, as a matter of fact. But we got forms at the beginning of the year. We got an email more recently, I think a couple months ago, and then we got one just in the last few weeks, all describing how we could opt out. So I think there are opportunities. I heard parents saying they weren't informed, but as one parent in this district, I clearly got the information.
Lots of times. So the question with that, I guess, so we do have requirements on certain language that we have a certain population that rises to a given level, and then we have to start providing information in multiple languages. So my understanding that wasn't done initially, but we're doing it now. Is that correct?
Is this on?
Because I can understand why that would be a concern for parents.
It's on. It's on. It's
Now you're
on. Oh, it was covered by the thing. Okay. Correct. It wasn't done initially, and now we are, like, for example, all the parent video, the parent nights are now all in closed caption for English and Spanish. We are moving forward to doing it in Mandarin also. The instructional guides are being translated into Mandarin and Spanish.
Okay. Yeah, I think that that's important, and maybe that's something we want to capture in the AR to say that whatever languages are required given our populations, that's included. Also, I want to make sure, because we had someone speak at a previous meeting about special education students, we need to make sure that whatever teachers or para or whoever is serving that student, that they're fully trained, because they have a right to full and complete education like our other students.
Got that in a Friday update.
And I'm trying to think what other
I
questions.
think we got that information that teachers had been trained.
Okay.
Yes.
So perfect. So my question I know there's a lot of anxiety about whether or not we have single gender instruction or mixed gender instruction. And my only question with that is, my understanding is the law does not require us under this code to have mixed. That under the Healthy Youth Act, it doesn't indicate that we have to have.
The regs under, your general rule would be that you need to have co-ed in general, across the board, right?
Okay.
There is, the Title IX regulations have an exception for single-sex instruction of human sexuality. And the Ed Code 232.4 or 234.2 expressly also incorporates that regulation. So this is an area where the law itself says single-sex classes are acceptable. I think some of your speakers tonight raised some concerns that interact with that.
And that would get to my next question is, are there other areas of the law that are in direct conflict with that? And specifically, I'm thinking if we have a non-gender conforming student who comes to us and says, I'm not willing to choose one sex or the other, and I want instruction. And I believe the Ed Code does indicate that we are not allowed to have a third instructional group. Is that?
Well, what I would say is there's three parts to that answer.
Okay,
You
good.
start from the perspective that this again is a unique scenario where federal and state law clearly do permit you, as a rare exception, to do single-sex instruction. Let's assume that you're doing single-sex instruction. As is currently the state under California law, we permit and recognize that students are entitled to enroll in programs, activities, and other school offerings consistent with their gender identity. But I also think when you're doing this thoughtfully, students who are exercising their rights consistent with their gender identity are going to want different things in different scenarios, including, you're going to be working closely with your students who are in that category. But they would clearly have the right to take, if you did have separate classes, the course which aligned with their gender identity, but they also might, for other reasons, not want to do that. And so you're working closely in those instances. I do think that as we move to the changes in the law where students are going to be able to identify themselves in a non-binary fashion, that's going to create further complications in this area.
But we're not there yet.
But you're not there yet, and it's clear that you can do single sex if you went that way, and then I think you're being sensitive and working carefully with your students in these other areas to make sure that you're meeting their needs.
Okay.
They could, when all these things flush out in the coming years, maybe there's a change. But for
Right,
now,
and why this is complicating is that we have students, the current situation that we're seeing, and that's covered, if you look at some of these topics under the American Psychological Association, male students are more likely to identify before they even start school because there's so much ostracization of students who present as more effeminate, so they may choose to transition before they even start school. So you can end up in a situation where we have a student who identifies in one way but has a biology of the other way, and so which class do they take? The one that addresses their emotional needs or their physical? And so it's complicated. I think given that the law does not currently require it, it may be that for the time being that we go with the mixed groups in elementary. Sorry, single.
I think she misspoke.
I meant single.
It's
but
late.
Again, I think that we need to be really conscious of supporting our students because, and what I will say about my other feeling about this, were a lot of people who spoke to why do we even need to do this at this age? And one of the reasons that we're starting at 4th grade and why the board chose it at the time to say, okay, we're going to start at 4th grade is because students are going through puberty at a younger age. And so this addresses those students when they need the instruction, right? Some of you have talked about your child doesn't need instruction yet. And I appreciate that and I honor that. And I think as a parent, you have to look at your child and choose what is best for your child. But we have other children who have needs sooner. We have other children who do not have a parent at home. They don't have somebody. I mean, I think your children are very lucky that you are so passionate about their needs because not all of our students have that. And so we have to, as a school district, make sure we take care of those kids too. And so I want to make sure that we're covering their needs. So that sort of gets to the 4th, 5th, and 6th because of when children are changing. Also, the law itself changed because there's a higher rate of HIV/AIDS coming into our communities at a younger age. And so this is a real life and death issue. So you may not like it, but I got news for you. This is why the law has changed. The law has changed to support kids.
Order, please. At this moment, the public speaker already used their time, so you cannot conduct a dialogue with the board members because.
Thank you.
Just for the
I have. So there's two other things that I think that we need to be aware of. One is the growing rates of HIV in younger kids, and also when there's a case where Clovis was non-compliant with Ed Code. They wanted to only teach a very narrow curriculum, and their rates of pregnancy went through the roof. So if you're looking for data, the data exists. It's why the American Psychological Association is supportive of this instruction, and as was mentioned by one of the speakers, specifically is supportive of 3 Rs. And I think that we have to be really careful what we do because you do get into suicide prevention, and I think that to me, this is an important topic because of that we need to be looking out for all of our students because we want them to feel valued just as you want your children to feel valued. We all want our kids to feel that they are the most important person in the world. That's why we send them to school, to get an education and to be appreciated and valued. So I'm supportive of this board policy and AR for those reasons.
So, Trustee Crosby?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Order. Okay. First of all, we'll start the second round of, Okay. So just before I express my opinion, let me confirm again. The California Youth Health Act does not require any school district in California to offer sex ed in 4th to 6th grade, correct?
Correct. And I would comment briefly on the BP and AR you have. There's two components that are at the board's discretion in essence. Do you offer this instruction at grades 4 through 6? And if you do you do it single sex or co-ed?
Right.
The totality of the BP and AR are otherwise memorializing what these new and increased and specific requirements are when you offer this instruction. And so I think you would look at this policy to interact with the other curriculum-related policies you've been talking about this evening. But what it does is ensure that when you do adopt and are offering curriculum in this area at the grade levels that you're required to and those that you decide whether or not to do at your discretion, that it's done so consistent with this policy, which is directly aligned and driven by the Ed Code itself.
Okay. So my second question is, if FUSD, just like our neighboring New Haven school district, does not offer any sex education in 4th to 6th grade, as like many other school districts in California, do we have legal liability? In other words, can anyone sue us for not offering that?
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, anyone can sue for anything. But in terms of, districts get sued all the time. But in terms of, can you be found to have violated the law if you don't offer it in 4 through 6? And the answer to that is no.
Okay. So let's just say we've heard tonight from parents that they have concerns about the content. They have concerns about the procedure. They have the content about the opt-out option where the students would not provide the equal opportunity to get educated with well-prepared material. And we also heard the lack of teacher training. We also heard about concerns about the extra cost for training teachers to fully be familiar with this new material. I just, that let me think, if we do not offer sex education in elementary school, would all these concerns or problems go away once for all?
No.
Bullshit.
I think not offering that curriculum will not result in legal liability, but, and I think that's the only answer I give you in terms of
that's not a question for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, if we do not have the obligation to offer this, and we do not offer this, then how we come up with the curriculum and how we train the teachers, where there's too much, where there's too little, all those kind of arguments will be gone forever. Okay, student board member.
Okay, thank you. So just going back about content and curriculum. So when this is introduced to 4th graders or to 4th to 6th graders, they'll be going over all like the major major headings. However, you're right. It is up to how teachers teach the material, how in depth they go. So in that aspect, it's up to it's going to be up to how detailed we take the curriculum, and that's something that we can like look at, because we don't need to go in depth at a young age. We can introduce the topics, but not go in such detail. That's my understanding of it. I do also want to say that a lot of students need this education, and they're waiting for it. They're waiting for fourth grade so that they can get this education. And Surf 40 believes that for the general good of the diversity of Fremont, the different students that we have, that this would be the best thing for us to do, is to adopt it at a younger age. Thank you.
Trustee Campbell.
Okay, so I think we're all over the map a little bit tonight, and I think what we have before us is to take a look at this policy and decide within this policy what we're comfortable with and what we're not comfortable with. And then we could go into, well, then what would that look like in terms of curriculum? Because we've heard tonight that the curriculum for the younger age is a little, it's not age appropriate in terms of whether or not our fourth graders should be exposed to such sexual content at such a young age. Now, I'm of the opinion, in terms of, since we're talking about the age group, and I'm of the opinion that we shouldn't start at fourth grade. I think that fifth and sixth grade, it would be a better time for us to begin to introduce kids to puberty and sex ed, and then I would be cautious on what we're teaching them at that time. Because I do believe that some students, and parents again will have an option to opt out if they don't want their kids to see it, but if they're involved in the helping with the shaping of the curriculum, we may not, well, we're always going to be here, but we may be less here. We won't be here till 1 o'clock in the morning talking about this, hopefully. Because I do believe that there are some students who don't have the parental care to help them. And if we try to do a compromise, I'm all into the compromise space, that we will be able to get to a place where fifth and sixth graders will have an opportunity to be able to have an appropriate, age-appropriate curriculum. That's what I believe. I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with fourth, but I would go to, fifth and sixth.
Can I ask a clarifying question of the team? In fourth grade, there is no sexual content, it's just puberty. Is that correct or not?
No,
In
some,
fourth grade?
if you have to look at yeah.
I'm asking my staff. Hold on.
So it gives the basics, excuse me, it gives the basics of puberty, and then it does go into intro of healthy boundaries. So that's where.
Does that contain sexual content?
And then your body, your rights, no touch, correct. There is no.
It depends on how you're defining sexual content.
Right.
Because
It does.
So to